Okay, welcome back to the Are You Strong show. I have an awesome local guest on the show today. Uh, I hate to say the word former, but one day we all become former college soccer player, major injury, changes direction, and went to a different kind of thought process and around sports and turned sports into fun and then turned his athletic drive into a very successful entrepreneurial business, which we're going to dive deep into, and how his athletic promise really turned that competitive drive into the business drive, and now what he's doing with it and the fun that he's having. But I want to welcome to the show Kieran Williams.
Jeff, thanks for having me, man. It was a
I,
pleasure.
I am I am excited to have you on. And for any, I'm just going to start out with something kind of goofy here for a second. If anybody hasn't seen it yet, you have to go on to LinkedIn and you have to look Kieran up and you have to watch his blooper to outtakes of the videos that he has created. It's fun to watch. And I give you a ton of credit to having the courage to go out there and put that for the whole world to see.
It's funny, man. That video particularly, I wish, I could make a million of those videos. We probably have more of those videos than the videos that actually get published. And it's been so cool seeing that journey respectively inside of everything that we'll end up getting into,
Yeah.
particularly the content side of things. The first time I was ever on camera, I was just like,
Frozen.
it was my friend Sam who's like, all right, dude, like introduce, like talk what we're doing. I'm like forgot my name, forgot where I was. So to be it's always a work in progress, but much more comfortable on it now and like cool and like love sharing all that stuff and
Yeah.
hopes that other people kind of get out of their own way with it too has been fun. It's definitely a good laugh.
It's great advertisement. I'll tell you that. Because
Something.
because for me anyway, it sucked me in to keep watching. Like, what's the next one? What's the next one? You
I
know,
need this kid to screw up a little bit more. We
no,
actually feel
it
better
was
about
great. It
ourselves.
was great. Kieran, I have a ton of questions to ask you, but before I get into that, why don't you just tell the audience just a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what you're doing now, and the fun you're having.
Absolutely, man. I think above all else, I am aspiring to be the best person I can be, which includes family, friends, relationships, and people really close to me. I know we were talking about it off camera for a second, but I think entrepreneurship is just the greatest self-development program course ever. And inside of entrepreneurship, as far as what I do, I'm an entrepreneur. I own the Garage Gym, which is a gym concept currently based in New Jersey. We've got two facilities where we get to know all members before they can join. We limit memberships to make sure it's not crowded, it's super clean, and it's a really just amazing collection of good people who are training for stuff that is special to them. When I say training, I know we've got a lot of athletes that listen. It doesn't have to be a race or an event, although a lot of folks do. Some folks join because they just had their first kid, they work late hours, they want to revamp their life, and they want a good community of people to do it with. So that's the garage on one side. And last year, actually, I started a brand called Feels Good, where there's a lot of overlap, really in the effort to get people to find their 100% life physically, mentally, and socially. So I feel super passionate about folks just doing what speaks to them. I think a lot of people have a voice in their head and their heart and their soul that chirps and wants to do and wants to be more, but a lot of people shirk it to the side and say, I gotta work, I gotta buy a house, I gotta do this thing, and a lot of like societal constructed things in their head. And I want people to listen to themselves a little bit more, lean into the things that really make them feel alive
Yeah.
and have some fun doing it.
Like you said, I think, too many people just kick the can down the road, right? Tomorrow, next week, right? So your athletic career was didn't start out very good.
It was interesting.
Yeah. So, it wasn't like you even had a chance. Tell the audience about what happened to you. You show up to college, day one, boom.
It was fun. I played soccer my whole life from like 6 years old to 21 years old. I loved it. I had the blow ups of Cristiano Ronaldo in my room. I had every soccer jersey known to man. And I was fortunate to get recruited to play soccer at Rutgers Newark, which is a Division III school in the NJAC. And it was funny at the time we got like this huge packet for like summer training that I'm convinced like no one did. For the most part, I think kids at that time were like, I'm fit. I'm gonna go play college soccer. Like that's what preseason is for. I'm gonna get fit then. I followed that thing to a T, man. I was doing 200-meter repeats by myself. I wanted to be as prepared as I could for preseason. And on the first day of preseason, it's like the third session, middle of summer, Newark campus. We're doing a scrimmage, I think, some small sided play, and the ball isn't even by me. I went to go turn, and I feel like my knee like pop. I hear a noise, and I was weird because I had no pain. I bounced right up, and I was more like frustrated because I'm like, oh man, what the heck just happened? Long story short, ended up completely tearing my ACL, my meniscus in two places,
And no pain?
no pain. It was weird. And that's why when I went to the trainers, they were like, you're fine. I'm like,
Yeah.
ma'am, with all due respect,
There's something wrong.
never, I don't think I'm fine. I don't have no pain. And normally you have severe pain.
Yeah.
And I'm not even like, I'm not a tough guy. I get paper cuts and it really like, it's not even like I'm so tough. I don't feel like
Yeah.
it just wasn't any pain. And I walk off the field, the trainer's doing some stuff. So yeah, you're good to get back out there. I'm like, let me just take, I'm not even one, I don't take off time. I'm like, let me just take the rest of this one off. I was like, can I like, let's think about this. I went to the main trainer and he did like the end all be all, like ACL test that like,
Yeah.
if there's give, you tore your ACL.
Yeah.
And he goes, hey man, I hate to be the very bad news, but I'm like 99% positive you tore your ACL. And I heard it, my stomach
So when
sank,
he's yanking on that thing, doing that test, it didn't hurt. Nothing.
no pain.
What
And
the
so in my
heck?
head, I'm like, man, that was weird. I was having some knee issues around that time. And so he told me that, and I'm like, I'm welling up inside, and I'm trying to, and I'm like, okay, man, thanks so much. And I like get out of there. I go like sit
Yeah.
on the steps outside of the field and just start like crying. I'm like, God, I'm like, this stinks, man. Because at that point in my life, it was like I want to play college soccer. I did this whole preseason at 20. I don't even know how old, maybe pre-20. It was like my world was
Yeah.
like cracked in half, and like everything I'd ever worked for was like done. And that's the longer short of it. Blew up my knee. I rehabbed
Day
that.
one. I think for those who are listening, like the first day of preseason sports, whatever sport you're playing, you are just so jacked up, right? To be there, right? And the energy and the nerves and the excitement. It's like I got 4 years of doing this, maybe five, in today's world with COVID and all, maybe you get 6 or 7 years. But like day one, the
Yeah,
odds of that are like zero.
it was a couple things too, because it was freshman year. It was a college experience, and I'm
Yeah,
like, dude, what the heck am I? Am I gonna be like on a bus just getting shoved around? Like, I gotta PT this thing. It was just like
yeah,
world collided, and then long-winded, rehabbed, played a little bit the second year, then transferred out, but we'll get there.
yeah,
Um, but in hindsight, man, again, I'm a very glass half full guy now. An awesome experience. It was horrible. It
yeah,
sucks on
yeah.
so many levels.
Oh yeah,
But now I can look back and be like, damn, dude, like finished it, got through it. My knee, knock on wood, is awesome now. And I'm sure it has helped shape me into a person, an entrepreneur, and friend that I maybe wouldn't have been otherwise if I had this
yeah,
glorious injury-free
yeah.
college career. So
Well, I'm going to imagine being that you're still in great shape. You're in an athletic career. You're helping people get in great shape, and that incident has helped you probably work with others or inspire them to understand that it's not the end of the world. You can get through this. You can get over this, and you can actually come out on the other side better.
it's a good point. I think now I have way more empathy for
Yeah,
people with injuries. I used to like knock on wood at that time. I was like kind of injury free for the most part. I have a lot more empathy. And then to your point there, I think it's a little bit comically like when people like, oh, dude, I stopped running, my knee hurts. Dude, I'm like, oh, like where did you do it? Ah, dude, it just kind of hurts. And if I'm close enough to them, I feel good about being a smart ass. I'm like, yeah, man, dude, I've had two knee surgeries, but I did this huge race last year and it was so much fun. And they're like, oh shit. Okay, yeah, okay, yeah,
better
I can
suck it up.
like if you can do that, like I'm not public about that, but if people are close to me, I'm like, dude, I'm like, figure it out. You'll be fine.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
like we can work with it.
yeah. So let's go backwards in time a little bit, right?
Mm.
prior to the injury, let's go put yourself back in, growing up, junior high, high school. What inspired you to say, "Hey, I want to play college soccer"?
That's a good question, man. I don't know. I had an older brother who played very competitive soccer too. I'm sure that had something to do with it. But I just remember falling in love with soccer from a young age. I think my parents put me into it when I was like 6. I played travel, I played club. I kind of grew out of that. I was playing like academy and then in Ironbound. I was playing with these competitive teams, and I, in hindsight, being 2020, I probably liked the challenge. I probably liked the competitiveness, and I just enjoyed playing so much. I couldn't really put my finger on like college soccer is it, but it was interesting how, not kind of quickly, but tore my ACL, rehabbed, came back the next season. And then within a year and a half, I'm like, I don't really love this anymore. I love soccer. I don't love this though. I don't love like not playing and then like uh it, it was a different experience than the one that
Yeah.
I kind of had spun up in my head. Um so then I remember when I transferred, I actually stopped playing for a while. I just like didn't love it as much as I used to. And then when I ended up transferring to Rutgers, New Brunswick, and played club soccer, and it was a really cool medium. Of course, it wasn't as competitive
Yeah.
as I was used to, but I was able to play with some really quality friends and have the social scene. It's tough to pinpoint it to like why I wanted to play college soccer. If
Right.
I were to speculate, it's probably just like most athletes as a kid's like dream. Like you
Yeah.
watch professional soccer, like, oh, I didn't want to just play college soccer. Let's start there. So it was
Yeah.
cool.
And do you think that once you got banged up, that playing college soccer just became more of a job, work versus fun and exciting?
I would say I would love to be able to talk about time spent playing college soccer not injured, but I don't have any of that. It was the first day of
Yeah.
preseason and I was healed. But once I was healed, I had this huge brace on my leg. I went through all of preseason and
Yeah.
in season and fun stuff. I just didn't love it. I think I'm definitely more competitive now than I ever was, which is interesting. I don't think I had this burning desire to be
Okay.
starting 11, winning a championship. I want to fight for a roster spot. I was always a talented player. I always worked super hard. I always like fought for my time on the field
Yeah.
with these competitive teams. But maybe that was just like a world I wasn't really ready for yet.
Yeah.
And then probably tearing up my knee didn't help.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like I remember being pretty nervous when I was playing just because I was so scared to like mess stuff up. Um, so it was an interesting time because I
Yeah.
love soccer so much, but maybe it was that level where I'm like, I don't know about this.
Yeah. Right. So how is talk about the rehab? You talk about the surgeries, the rehab, the mindset that was going on at that point in time.
It was tough, man. I used to like, I mean, I still said I wouldn't wish ACL rehab on my worst enemy. It was painful. It was long. I had like an interesting thing too, where like because I tore my meniscus in 2 spots, normally you can walk out of ACL. This is a funny story. Normally you can walk out of ACL rehab. Maybe on crutches or just walk because they want you to get back to life. Because I tore my meniscus in 2 spots too, I couldn't put any pressure on it for a while. So now envision this brand new freshman in college, blew out his knee, just had surgery. It must have been that same year. Like I graduated high school in May. I started
Yeah.
in August preseason. I think I had surgery between October and November. So like inside of the first semester, I can't put any pressure on my leg. They don't trust me with crutches because that's so fragile. So now I have to get pushed around in a wheelchair
Oh
in
my
Newark,
God.
New Jersey. So now envision Newark, New Jersey. If you're not familiar with Newark, New Jersey, it doesn't have nicely paved roads.
No.
And my dad, God bless him, he took off of work to basically be my wheelchair guy.
Are
So now
you kidding me?
I have my dad on campus as a freshman in college. I'm like trying to make friends and be this cool kid, and I've got my freaking dad around.
Hey, hey, kudos to your dad, man.
Love him to death. He's the
Holy
best.
crap.
He's the best, man. He's the best. No hesitation, no quarrel. I'm being a little torp in the chair, and he's like keeping it cool, calm, and
Yeah.
composed. He knows how upset I am. Um, so that was fun. So freshman year was kind of a wash on definitely a wash on the soccer front, and the whole experience was interesting, but kudos to dad
Yeah.
for
Did
not
you end up with a lot of alone time? Because, hey, you know what? I'm kind of stuck here, thinking too much, worrying too much, can't get out too much. Without dad pushing me around, I'm kind of stuck in my dorm.
I will say I don't think so. Looking back
Okay.
that far, like literally, my dad was always around. He is the one of the greatest people on planet Earth. He was always there. So if I wanted to do anything, he was there. I also had a pretty cool crew of soccer buddies that I lived
Yep.
with. I lived in I think it was like a suite with like 6 total guys.
Okay.
Like if I need anything, they would like kind of help out. They were nice. And
Cool.
uh and I was out of the wheelchair rather quickly. And then I was on crutches. And then it was also kind of interesting because now I didn't have the responsibility of soccer. And I could just like be a freshman in college, like mobile enough with my big knee brace. So maybe then it even became like a cool talking point with people. Like, dude, like,
Yeah.
what happened to you? Oh man, like I'm a freshman, just in a wheelchair, I bumped my knee. But now I get to like maybe enjoy the college experience a little bit more.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
You just have to be careful, drinking and wheelchairing around.
Yeah, I wasn't careful either. That's a story for a different day, but
So how do you think, you know, you know, being a college athlete itself, you know, even when you go from Division 3 to the club, it's still competitive soccer, and probably club is worse because you got to do it all yourself. You got to do everything. There's no school doing it for you. It's you and the team got to figure everything out
you don't have a
yourself.
coach. You're like
Yeah,
paying a
nothing.
coach that I don't even
Right.
know. Yeah.
Yeah, and but how do you think all that contributed to your personal growth from when you graduated and now you got out into this entrepreneurial world doing these cool things?
It's a good question, man. And I will say, I think I've always had, and I've got to give credit to my parents, I think, a pretty good like figure it out muscle. I really kind of any scenario I've ever been in has just been like figuring it out from the get-go. You tear your ACL the first day of preseason. Man, this was not what I expected. All right, we got to figure something else out for this first year. You do a bunch of rehab, then you transfer to New Brunswick. And I was fortunate I had my brother there. So like I joined the same frat that he was in. He was also playing club soccer. So that was a
Okay.
definitely a huge bridge to like introduce me to people and having this life. But it was also still like Newark to New Brunswick, even from an education standpoint. Now I'm with 50,000 people or something
Yeah,
crazy.
it's big.
There's buses, there's multiple campuses. The buses are always late. They're way too
Oh
crowded.
yeah.
The advisors don't answer
Oh
me.
yeah.
So it was just like figuring out from the get-go. I think has kind of been a pretty recurring theme that I would vouch to say most athletes echo about their time in sports specifically. Because yes, there is referees and there's rules, but then like there's the game. And like maybe you get cleated and you weren't supposed to, but no one got called for it. And like, oh shoot, man, this kid's playing a little cheap. Like, how do I avoid this kid? I don't want to get hurt today. How do I?
Yeah.
There's so many different scenarios of just figuring it out. I would say probably just having a natural figure it out muscle, and then a couple instances along my life map where I've been like a little bit tested to say, I do like you have two choices here. You can either crumble, sit in your dorm the whole time, go to a new school, make no friends, and do nothing, or you can figure out how to navigate it.
Man, you gotta coin that phrase, a figure it out muscle. You
But
could
yeah,
put that on a t-shirt.
I'll cover this one and I'll just put it over to the.
I mean, that'll be a pretty, that's a pretty good thing there. So what kind of values have you picked up, as being a college athlete that have kind of transferred into the corporate world for you, the business world?
Values. I will say, speaking honestly, I didn't have much of a connection to college sports. I never really, for whatever reason, like really connected on like a larger team level. I
Yep.
had really awesome experiences with like youth soccer and team and like barbecues and travel and
Yep.
hotels and stuff like that. So maybe talking a little bit more macro level athlete. I think it's always just this teamwork, like you've got each other's back.
Yeah.
I actually remember specifically, granted, this is because it was my brother. I didn't even see it, but it happened. Playing high school soccer, I was fortunate to play a year on varsity with my brother. And I think one time I was also like 110 pounds soaking wet, like talk about figuring it out. I think someone like whacked me. I got knocked over, and before I even got up, apparently like my brother came by and like whacked this kid to like let him know that like that's not cool on this field with our team. And so, not saying that you should go out and hit people, but in your realm of, in your world, looking out for the people that you call teammates or colleagues or employees or whatever your team looks like. And I think it could even expand to outside the workplace too. People with friends, with people that you love, just showing up and making sure that they know that you've got their back. Uh,
Yeah.
Probably one of the bigger things, and something that I've been leaning into, particularly in the last year, just investing in my relationships, showing up for people.
Mm.
Because it's oftentimes, I think, the first thing that you just like kind of forget about in a busy world.
Talk about that more. I mean, investing in your relationships. Why is that important to you?
It's funny, man. I think particularly for me, there was a point in my life. Um, I graduated from Rutgers in 2019. I had this perfect storm event of like longish term relationship, like imploded, didn't really know what was going on. Um, I conveniently, I don't know if you've read it yet, David Goggins' first book,
Oh yeah, can't hurt me.
Can't Hurt Me. I read that book by grace of the world, and I just like poured myself into training.
And you think you got it bad, right? You read his book. You read his
Exactly.
book. You're like,
Everything is relative. I'm like,
yeah,
this is nothing, man. But
yeah,
in my head, I treated it as this like training grounds to like
yeah.
figure myself out a little bit. And so for quite a long period of time, like I deleted my social media. I moved to North Carolina. I just really, aside from like my family, maybe a couple immediate friends, I was probably a terrible friend. I was not around. I was so enveloped in working out, reading, listening to podcasts, and trying to just like figure out the stress and anxiety and myself in many ways. And that lasted for a while. I would say if I had to pick a year where I really kind of came to realize that I'm so grateful for the people around me and the people I get to call friends and teammates of life, I think again a byproduct too of reading and podcasting and just learning from other people. I really think life is just a culmination of experiences with the people that you love. And so once that really started to resonate with me, because if you told me that when I was doing that stuff in Raleigh, I'm like, dude, kick rocks. Don't even
Yeah,
care. I'm not listening to you. I'm gonna go for a run.
right.
It was a different point in my life where like that wouldn't have resonated versus now. It's so much of my being. And now I even have more empathy for other people, knowing what I went through. So like to the grindstone, head down, I don't care. Where it even helps me reach out more, I think, or at least I try to reach out more for people who maybe don't like respond in a way that I would love for them to respond. I'm like, man, like maybe they're going through something. Maybe let me
Yeah.
be like extra nice and over. Let me write them a letter. Let me like
Mm.
check in with them and with no expectation, um, in the hopes that maybe they can realize too that they want to invest in their relationships the way that I've kind of come around too.
But it's like your shirt. You want to make them feel good, right?
Because then the goal too is then if I can help Jeff feel good about himself and his physically,
Yeah,
mentally, socially being, he's gonna do that to someone else.
yeah,
And they're gonna do that to someone else. And all of a sudden, this little interaction that we've had, maybe we've got the community of Berkeley Heights, New Jersey, like riding a high, even if
yeah,
it's for like an hour of a Saturday.
yeah,
Like they're feeling good for a period of time that they maybe wouldn't have otherwise.
yeah,
And that's kind of, maybe we'll talk about this later, but macro level, who I want to be with the businesses and the people that I serve, that to me is everything. I think you can have such a positive impact on other people who will then have this butterfly and ripple effect on other people and other people. And it doesn't mean you have to move to Raleigh and ride your bike a gajillion hours a day. It doesn't mean you have to start a business or
yeah,
like spend money or take massive risk. Just means maybe you operate at a little bit higher of a frequency. So if you
yeah,
have a job that you don't love, maybe you go into the office and you like say hi to someone you wouldn't have normally said hi to, or like you smile and you carry yourself, your posture is good, you've been working out, you're filling out your shirt a little bit more, and people look at Jeff and like, dude, what the frick is that guy on, man? Is he doing
yeah,
drugs? Is that like what is he doing? And
yeah,
they talk to you and like it's infectious.
yeah,
And that's the dream, man. For everyone to have a piece of that in their life.
right.
It's for me, I say I'm in a violent echo chamber of wild positivity. Group chats, text messages, people. It is sometimes overbearing. Where I'm like, okay, I'm like, yes, yeah, cool. but it's so not the norm too. And I'm so fortunate to have that, but also be recognized that. So now, especially with,
I got to cut you off. I
okay,
got because
sorry,
if I don't ask you this, I'm going to forget.
I
I'm
get
getting
lost
too
in it.
old. It's what you're saying is so true. It's you become the product of the people you hang around, right? I love what you said, violent, wild positivity, which is so cool. But what inspired that? Because you went to North Carolina for what? What did you go down there for? What were you looking for? What did you find? What brought you back? And how did that change you into who you are today?
And I will say too, so I went to North Carolina technically for a job, but in many ways to get out. I wanted like a new start. I got involved, otherwise it was neat. This level of like find your 100% life, dude. Like, let's live, man. You're gonna die one day is
Yeah.
more recent than I didn't just come back from North Carolina like fresh out of a reset and ready for
Right.
it. I definitely came out kind of on this path, but I just think that at some point along this journey, I've developed such a deep appreciation for people experiences in life and realizing that one day no one really knows you're going to die, and the impact, the person that I want to be is someone that I'm proud of. And I mean, we can go down the rabbit hole of what that person looks like, but in longer short of it, it's everything I just said. Like, be
Yeah.
someone you're proud of, help other people, be a servant leader in your community, and just start there. And I think you can have such a positive impact on people with no expectation, and it can just serve such a greater good. I think now more than ever, too, election year, these horrible
Uh,
instances in New
yeah.
Orleans, and it breaks my heart, and I can't wrap my head around it. And I think one of the things that I can control is how I operate and the energy that I give off and the people that I surround myself with, and to hopefully instill in people that life is good. And I know it can look sometimes very dark. I'm also very fortunate just with my life in general, just to have my life. And it's not everyone can say the same. So to be kind of like a beam, a lighthouse of positivity that people can see, like, man, I just want
Yeah.
a piece of that. How do I do that? Step one.
Right. So I guarantee you, somebody's listening to this and saying, okay, that's a
Yeah.
5 minute thing. How do you do that every day? How do you stay so positive? Like, how the hell do you stay that mindset so perfectly positive when this, like you just said, the whole world's on fire? How do you do it?
I don't, right? So it's not like I don't wake up out of bed and be like, today's the best day ever. I'm gonna
Yep.
go achieve my dreams. It's
Yep.
not like that. But I think the first step is being violent in the words that you choose to speak. I think in every instance and every interaction and every opportunity, you have a choice in how you respond and how you react and how you conduct yourself. So even when it is not good, you can choose to look at it in a way that is some semblance of positive. And of course, there's a wide, there's extremes, highs and lows, and then there's life in the middle. But I think for most people listening to this podcast, I pray that they are not in any extreme negative of life. I think that you can look really at anything. Is how at least I conduct it with myself. And I say, if you don't believe me, ask my girlfriend, because it's sometimes overbearing, of being really cognizant of the words that you say. I
Mm,
learned this from a gentleman named Chad Wright on a podcast um, years ago, and it was really talking about how the words that you speak matter. You can speak things into existence, and I don't say that in a foo-foo way of like, I'm going to be rich, and tomorrow I expect to be rich, and I'm going to be rich tomorrow. That's probably not going to happen. Maybe it will, but I don't think so. But you can choose to feel good. You can choose to have a positive mindset in the midst of something that necessarily doesn't feel good or isn't positive. And you can, I think, you can control that more than people think. So I think
yeah.
it's just, my
Yeah.
hope is that it's just a choice. And it's at least step one and making the choice and then working into it too.
Well,
At the same time.
here's a direct correlation to that is I saw you somewhere, somehow on some social media, something, right? And whatever you were doing, I don't know. I can't remember, but whatever it was, I'm like, that's pretty cool, right? And then I reached out to you. right? And I'm like, hey, let's talk on the phone. And I was driving somewhere and we were talking on the phone. And sometimes I think I forgot where the hell I was driving because we got so intense in the conversation,
Yeah.
right? And I'm like, this guy's like a ball of energy. Okay. Which now, what does that do? Like you said, the frequencies, it creates that frequencies to watch you more and see what else you're doing, right? It's what it does. And then it's like, then we get you on here, and now we're gonna be able to tell your story and pump it out to more people. So, but if you were down in the dumps, if you were a negative guy, if you weren't doing the cool things you're doing, you and I would never be talking. And now, so I hope that by doing this, it pumps it out to the other listeners and like, hey, Westfield, that's not too far away. That's a pretty cool spot. Let me go check that gym out. You know what I mean? Just because of all this.
Mm.
And that's what, I think, when you say you speak positivity, you speak things into existence, this is the kind of things you're talking about. The things just start to happen.
Yeah, man. And again, I know it could sound kind of foo-foo at times. Someone listening about, dude, like, must be nice, man. Like, yeah, like you run some businesses, like you got this thing, it's your brand, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. Like I can see the inverse being more relatable to people, but I think on another thread, without like sounding any type of way, I think that like you'll believe the story that you tell yourself. Like
Mhm.
maybe I'm full of baloney and you think I'm totally whatever and
That.
fine. A, it's not true, but fine. Like we're not here to convince you otherwise. But I would also challenge the question to be like kind of like, why not like listen to these guys who are like doing cool stuff and have high energy? Like if I don't have
Yeah.
high energy, A, do you want high energy? If you don't want high energy, dude, turn this podcast off.
Yeah.
Like wrong place. But if you do, like lean into it and then ask yourself, like, why am I not? Is it diet? Is it the people I'm surrounding myself with? Rabbit hole for a different day, but like ask yourself kind of like why not? Like
Yeah.
why not you? If you told me
Yeah.
that I was going to live the life that I'm living now at 28 years old, even 5 years ago, I'd be like, bro, you got the wrong guy. I don't know what I'm going to be doing, but it's not that. Like I'm not going to,
Yeah.
again, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Like, and maybe we can talk more about that too. But like the fact, dude, that I get to wake up, huge win, not dead.
Yeah.
But then B, like choose to surround myself with people. I'm very grateful I get to do work that I'm deeply passionate about, but it also hasn't been that way. Like I had a job
That
in
you
software
hated.
sales last year. I left my job last year. I was still working. I had which I at that point it was like but I used to really enjoy it. I had other jobs that like I didn't enjoy at all, but like I think the way that you can approach it is like this right now is a means to an end. Like anytime I had a job that I didn't love, I just chose to use it as an opportunity.
Yeah.
Save money, learn and acquire skills. Because one day I'm going to need money and skills to do what I actually want to do. I don't know what I want to do yet, but I need to be in a position for if Jeff goes, hey man, I'm hiring for my podcast. I need someone. I'm like, dude, I'm kind of good at some stuff. Like, let's talk. But if I'm just like poo-poo pants and like
Oh,
in my own
yeah.
fields, like I'm never going to be able to do anything that I don't even know that I want to do yet. If that makes sense.
Yeah. So I want to ask you two questions. And the first one is what did you do, one, to prepare yourself? College is over, done. Okay, I'm going into the real world. What did you do to prepare yourself for that? What was your vision around, hey, I don't think I'm doing this corporate crap forever. I'm going to do my own thing. And then two, to the world that's listening, because it's like, oh, this guy's got it made. He's got a great business. Talk about how hard it is to be an entrepreneur and the grind it takes to build a business, especially one that you're in, that you got to go out there and find the customers to bring in.
So I always like to caveat questions like this with this is not advice, right? So this is what has worked for me. This is also what has not worked for me, and I'll get into that in a second. But back to like, be careful who you take advice from. I know we were talking
Mm.
about this off camera beforehand.
Yeah.
Don't take what I say as the end all be all. Take what I say, find what resonates with you, find what what makes you think this kid's nuts, and then operate accordingly. But when I graduated Rutgers, I worked at a huge chemical company. And a very long story short, before I even started, I'm like, this stinks. I don't want to do this. But I use that as an opportunity to literally, when I was at work, my job wasn't very intensive. I would download books to my laptop. I would go into like these huddle rooms between meetings, or if I wasn't very busy, and I would listen to full length podcasts on YouTube. And I would just sit like this. I would like pretend to be in a meeting, and I would watch Rich Roll or Jesse Itzler or these people that I
Yeah.
really came to admire that I had no idea who they were prior, but I just found them. And I would download books and I'd read and I'd listen and I would just like download all of this knowledge and expertise from people that I've never met, that I don't know, but I'm learning their stories. So I think that was kind of step one in the perspective of like, there's a totally different life out there. Someone owns the Atlanta Hawks. People wake up and don't have to go to meetings they don't want to go to. People live life in a way that is deeply fulfilling. Again, I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but that's like that's possible. For me,
Yeah.
I love my parents to death. Grew up super middle class. My dad works as a garbage man. My mom is a like office worker, overgeneralizing a little bit. So I really had no concept of like making a lot of money or like what other jobs there were. I was like, go to school, get a job. Congrats.
Yeah.
Um, I worked at that company for a little bit, and then I actually worked at a startup for a little bit, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I worked at a company called Global Data Consortium. It was in identity verification software without boring people too much. It was awesome. I was employee 25. It was true like startup, and then we later sold, and then actually left that job last year. So as far as what I did and how I kind of got to doing some of the stuff that I'm doing now, I think it was understanding the chapter of life that you're in. I can say that now. When I was doing it then, I wouldn't have been so probably concise in saying that. But if you're at a place in your life where you don't totally love what you're doing, if you're not making the money that you want to be doing, that you want to be making, or with the people that you want to be around with, that's all good. Let's acknowledge, like, it's okay. You're not gonna like, it's fine. We'll figure it out. How do we do that? I've always just tried to be valuable. Value can look
Mm.
many different ways. You can have a successful podcast, you can invite guests on, you can meet them. You can have skills, start a business, you can have network to have people. There's a million ways that you can be valuable. It could be being the funny guy. You get invited because you're funny and people like your energy. Start there. Whatever is valuable.
Yep.
For me, it's like, let's be valuable. How do I acquire skills and knowledge and things that like I'll be valuable when I go into a room of people who are the people that I want to be around or doing the business that I want to be in? Because if you have, in my opinion, if you have nothing to bring to the table, it's like, okay, like nice guy, but why are they going to invite me back?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was like, understand that like you have the same amount of time in the day that everyone else has. Use it to acquire skills. For me, it was also save money. I lived like a monk. I didn't go out really. I didn't do much. I'm not saying to do that. I'm sure I missed out on some opportunities to do cool stuff in Raleigh or wherever. But for me, that's where my head was. One day I'm going to have an opportunity to do something. I want to be prepared for it from a skill lens, from a money lens, from a time lens. How do I do that? I don't know, but let's figure it out. Fast forward to now garage. Very long-winded and story short. I moved back home from Raleigh, North Carolina. I found my way to a gym called the Garage Gym. It was a very kind of friends and family thing in Garwood, New Jersey, led by my buddy Sam. And I loved it. The people were awesome. The gym was awesome. I was there all of the time. He was probably like, who the heck is this kid? Like, he pays membership, yeah, but like if there was an overusage thing, then like it
Yeah.
was, I was there like 3 times a day.
You'd be guilty.
Yeah, I'll raise my hand for that one. Sam also started a brand called Alpha Fit Club, which is a group training concept that has since really taken off and taken up a lot of his time. So he was kind of at a fork on the road of like, I have this garage thing that I really enjoy, but this Alpha Fit Club thing needs my time. So he actually reached out to me. He was like, yo, dude, I have an idea. To his credit, he wanted to give me 50% of the garage for $0 and just to help out with it. And I said, dude, absolutely not. Does not feel good. Like, I'm not going to take half of your child. And I want skin in the game. I
Yeah.
appreciate it, but no. I said, come up with a number that makes sense to you, that feels good, and we'll go from there. And basically, he's like, all right, value of the equipment is $100,000. If you want 10%, 20%, 30%, whatever, do the math, and we'll go from there. He's like, but I don't want to give up more than half of it. I said, okay. I said, I think at the time I had $52,000 in my bank account. I just saved everything. At that time, I was living at home again. Didn't spend money on much
That's a nice chunk of change for a young guy.
for a 23 maybe.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm like, dude, 50% sounds way better than 35 or anything other than it. And I'm like, okay, man, let's do this thing. I'm gonna give you $50,000. Do you want it in like a bag? Am I gonna mail it to you? I knew nothing. I knew nothing. He's like, what are you talking about? I was like, he's like, you're gonna wire this to me. And I'm like, wire? Okay, what? And so from that moment on, I didn't know how many members there were. I didn't know what rent costed. I didn't know what utilities we paid. I didn't know if the business was even making
So you
money.
bought into the responsibility of running it.
Spot on. And I loved it so much. I'd made such quality friends. For me, I had heard about this concept from Tim Ferriss. I don't know if you're familiar with him,
Yeah.
about this real world MBA. And he's like, I don't want to go back to school necessarily, but like the money that I would have spent on an MBA, let's like put it into life experience.
Yeah.
But for me, I was like, I live at home. I still have a job. I've saved up this money. Let's try it. So
Invest it.
I wired in $50,000 and like now I own the garage gym. And that was kind of the start. And then from then, we opened up our Westfield facility. We opened up a little summer facility. Happy to dive into the numbers and how we did that if you'd like. But condensing it a little bit, now we've got 2 facilities operating 100%. And that was kind of the software sale or chemical company to software sales to start a gym to just last year. I left my software sales job. So I was there for like 3 years working, building the garage full time.
Yeah.
And then last year I was like, okay, cool, dude. Like we got to really dive in on this thing.
So the gyms now are replacing your income. You can't, and now you get to come and go and do whatever you want. So talk about the behind the scenes of the garage gym and what you do. I don't mean like the day-to-day operation, but the mental side of that. Is it late nights? Is it stressful times? Is it, how do we keep the lights on in the beginning to where it is today? Like, I'm sure the world wants to know, hey, it still looks too rosy. Like it can't be that easy and perfect. What was the stressful stuff you dealt with behind the scenes?
So I should also caveat that like you're talking to the guy who like just riffed on like you have a choice to feel
Yeah.
good and be
Yeah.
positive. It's like I almost sometimes don't even acknowledge like this is hard. Like I've done a lot of like ultra runs, 100-mile races and in a different capacity. When I get to the end of it, I'm like, oh, it was so bad. It sucked. It was terrible. Like my feet are swollen. I've got blisters and shape. And in it, I'm like, oh, this freaking stinks. But as soon as I'm done, I'm like, okay, that wasn't that bad. Like I'm alive. Like I can do it again.
Let's do it again.
And I don't sometimes I just don't process it as that. And I almost choose not to look at it that way, but I will for the sake of this. I think I'm a guy historically, I've gotten better at it end of last year than going into this year, who is like, if I have like this much time in a day to work, I'm gonna do this. And
Right.
it was just like, if I have time, I'm working. Even if it's not freaking valuable, I just need to like build this thing. And it was particularly intense, I'd say, in the beginning, because I'm like, I don't know anything. I got a supply chain management degree. I just worked in software sales, and I'm the owner of a gym. Okay. What do we like? What do we even do? So I think the lack of knowing was kind of a blessing because it was like I sometimes to a fault quote the people who said the quotes I'm about to say. I just think it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Sarah Blakely has talked about like what would you do if no one told you how to do your job? I think sometimes people are so programmed to like, okay, I got to run a gym. I need to do this. I need to do this. They told me to do that. And it takes the creativity and the opportunity for you to put your spin on it. So I think kind of a blessing was I didn't know anything. So I was just figuring it out as I went. And I would probably say that the toughest part is just that. I think I was fortunate where like I still had a job. So like I didn't rely on the money from the business to like keep me
Right.
afloat. I was living at home. I live like a monk. I don't have a girlfriend, and I'm just like zoned in on the garage. Anything that's not serving this is not serving me. Um, and even from like a financial lens, I think that I've put, so I'm 28 now. I've probably put in over 200 or $250,000 of my own money into the garage gym. Series of events. I had equity in a company that sold. I had some coin. I borrowed some money. I paid it off. And without getting into the weeds, I am so pro taking risk. If you ask any sane financial advisor, they'd say, someone please chain this kid to a bench and don't let him touch the wire button. But for me, it's like, dude, why would I not bet on myself? Like, I have an opportunity at 26, 27, 28. I live at home. I have a job. Like, dude, this could burn down tomorrow, knock on wood, and I don't think it will. But I'll figure it out, man. Like, why would I not take this chance now to build something that A, I'm deeply passionate about, but I also have so much conviction in? Because I think for me, if you ask, we'll stick on the garage piece now, like what we do, why we do it well. This is the service industry. Like, we are serving the people in our communities to be the best versions of themselves. So for me, let's just obsess on that. I can control that. I can text people, I can call people, I can build community, I can think of kind of out of the box ways to like get people to connect and make friends. And
Yeah.
for me, we're serving people on such a level that's also so interesting, because I think naturally the gym is also uh a very vulnerable place. People go there to change their lives and get fit. I think when you parlay
Yeah.
that with community and people who really care, I think it's just a good blend. So without losing sight of the actual question, I think it's figuring it out as you go. There was no, cool, I'm going to open this book and now I know how to run a gym.
Right.
I was like, shoot, man, I have no idea how to run a gym. Let's figure that out, but let's keep the main thing. The main thing is serving our people,
Yeah.
and we can control that. So let's control that and see where it lands. And I think as you go, you figure it out and you learn what works, what doesn't work, lean
Yeah.
into that stuff, and have some fun.
As an entrepreneur, I mean, I can sit here and talk about your business all day, which because this is fun. Is because I want people because my world, my business world is entrepreneurial as well, and you get out of it what you put into it, and what you invest, you get back. Same type of stuff, and you got to have that pro risk
Mhm.
mindset versus a fixed mindset. It's either your growth or you're fixed, one or the other. So but what kind of hours do you put in? What is it, a 7 day a week job? Do you get to pick and choose what you want to do when you want to do it, or are you kind of, because some guys are, I don't want to say the word addicted to it, but chained to the business.
Yeah. I've never counted hours. I'm sure if I did, it would be a lot. I think we're also talking today, which is awesome because I have a different view on this than I did historically. Historically, it was like, dude, like if I'm not working, I don't feel good. And which is absolutely not the right way to look at things, at least I think personally. But I do think there's chapters to life and then there's chapters to a business. I think in the beginning chapters of a business, I heard this somewhere else and I kind of married it. I'm like, the needs of the business come before all else. That for me at that point in time, as a 27 or however old I was, like now is the time for me to go like really hard on this.
All in.
I
Yeah.
have no kids, I have no mortgage, I have no family, I have like really no responsibilities. Let's see how far we can take this, man. I'm grateful. Sometimes I'm a little too good at delaying gratification, and I use that as fuel. So for me, it was like, dude, like hard, like all the time, figure it out. And again, that's not advice. That's just worked for me. From an hour lens and then from a day lens, it's like every day. I'm not saying I'm at a desk from 6 a.m. to midnight. I also have an interesting world where like a lot of it's in the facility, a lot of it's on the phone, a lot of it's building. I will say though, now and kind of historically, so our facilities have no employees. I don't have to be there to do what I do. I can do it from the office. I can do it from really wherever. Although I do like being central enough to like go, especially earlier on. I I've gotten better now though in this chapter saying, hey man, like I want to build a business that doesn't need me. And that is more long-term thinking that I've historically done, which is like, this business needs me. I need this business. We have to figure this out.
Yeah.
But now the lens is, how do you create something that can live without you, that I can work on because I love it, but not because it needs me? We're nowhere near that,
Yeah.
but that's the goal now. So it's been interesting over the past 3 years how the approach has been from every day, every night, no matter what. Every member has to go through um, an application, a phone call, and a tour process. Dude, I'll take a tour at 8 p.m. Sure, I'll meet you there. At that point, like, we need members, we need to figure this out. Now, maybe a different story.
Yeah.
So it's changed, but it used to be very much so everything. And now it's like one of the mantras I've been batting around is how's it go? Like my life is not my business fuels my life type of deal. And I think your business is your sandbox and your playground.
Yeah.
Build the life of your dreams. So let's start working into that.
That's so. Let me ask you this crazy question. When it's kind of, I kind of mean this seriously too.
Wait,
When the hell are you going on Shark Tank? Or is that actually in the works?
it's funny, man. Not in the works at all. A very tangible answer. So we have no outside funding. We've self-funded this 100%. Me and my partners. From what I've gathered from Shark Tank, I love watching it. But it's more of a, hi, Jeff, here's what I do. I need money. Can you give me money so we can do this? We're not doing that right now.
Right.
The goal with the garage is to provide just the greatest gym and community and people experience ever. And that requires a lot of TLC and really intimate work. We have no interest in franchising. If anything, the way that we've approached growth is kind of like a Chick-fil-A method, which is like entertaining to like compare Chick-fil-A to a gym. But like Chick-fil-A finds a rock star owner operator. They give them this business. They give them a great deal around it too. And like, Jeff, make this yours. You're the guy. Build this out. We're here to support you. People come to Chick-fil-A for Jeff. People come to Chick-fil-A because they have this brand of being awesome, high quality, all that fun stuff. So our idea is let's grow slower. Let's grow profitably. We're not opening and burning cash on day one. We'll open our facilities and be profitable. So that way we can continue to self-fund this growth, at least historically, or just use like a bank loan to do it so that we're not giving away any more equity. Or use the equity wisely for an owner operator. Say, hey, so we're looking at a gym in Montclair. A rock star trainer has reached out. Let's get to know this guy. Let's get to know this girl. Let's make them a part of our family. And if it's a fit, hey, dude, like, this is yours. Everyone is a separate entity as it is. Garage gym, hypothetically, Montclair, Jeff, dude, if you're in, we're in. Here's the deal. Here's where we're thinking. Basically, like, you're the Kieran in Montclair. Like, I'm the Kieran right now for the garage gym. But back to like, let's make this thing live without me. Someone else can absolutely do what I do. It's not rocket science. I think they need to be absolutely community driven and people driven, but that's simple enough to find someone with. So long-winded. I don't think we'll do Shark Tank. I love to go on Shark Tank just to have some fun. I mean, I'll meet all of them. Maybe we'll talk more feels good on Shark Tank than Garage, but it would be good fun.
So why do you interview your members, gym members? Do you call them gym members? Do you call them club members? What do you call them?
I never really thought about what we call them.
Family,
Friends.
friend.
Garage gym family. But definitely friends. So why do we do that? The process today, folks will apply. Apply is a really strong word. They fill a little form. We get a note. Then they get some really light messaging on, if you're interested, book a call. I'll get a booked call. I'll say, Jeff, oh, dude, so good to meet you, man. Thank you for filling out this form. I've already learned a little bit about you. You've told me what you want to do and what you're about.
Yep.
How can I help? Sometimes, which is pretty funny, people misconstrue the process as like an interview. They have to like pass to get in, and it couldn't be farther from the truth. We absolutely want to create a little friction because we don't want everyone. I say that in a way where if anyone has ever been to a gym anywhere, there's a lot of characters.
Yep.
And some people don't clean up, or they're mean, or they start fights, God forbid. And we don't want those people. We want people who are going to be awesome humans. They're going to clean up after themselves. They're going to take care of the space, and they're going to be a good person.
You want them to think like it's theirs.
Make them feel like an owner, 100%.
Right.
And so the way that we've done things is we'll just get to know people. It's a super informal phone call. If you'd like, we go over pricing and what it includes and all that fun stuff. We align on what Jeff wants to do, see if we're even a fit. The amount of times I've referred people out to other gyms or to other things that I just know that we're not going to be good at. I'm like, hey, man, my responsibility here is to be the best, like, valuable use of your time to find what you want to do. If you're telling me you want group classes and you want an instructor to tell you what to do, you should go check out Alpha Fit Club. If you're telling me that you want to do anything that's not what we do, I'm going to try and help you and connect you otherwise. But if you're saying that what you want to do lines up with what we're doing at the garage, awesome. Come in for
Yeah.
a tour, see the space, we'll meet in person. And we do that again, just to make sure A, they know what they're getting into and what they're signing up for is exactly what they want. And also B, that they're going to jive with what we're building, the community and the people and the values that we hold true. We want everyone to hold true too. And it results in this absolutely epic, violent echo chamber of positivity and people who are rooting for each other, who are training for stuff and just training for life. And it's just so much fun
And
too.
it's open 24 hours.
Westfield is open 24 hours. Little Silver said no, so we had to do some hours there.
Okay.
But the goal was 24/7 because like
They
kind
get
of
their own pass key. They come and go whenever they want.
an app on your phone. Yeah, we use
Yep.
different like key code
Yeah.
apps that will prescribe. So even more so, kind of in that point, which I think is neat. You should always also feel safe, comfortable, and certain that who you're around, because 24/7 gym can be intimidating. If I go into any other gym and I see Jeff, who's got big muscles and he's like got this intense look in his eye, I'm like, that guy looks. Is he gonna? Are we alone? Is it late at night? Like
Yeah.
it can be spooky. But
Yeah.
dude, Jeff has talked to Kieran, and I know Kieran, and Jeff has maybe even been brought in by an existing member. Let me go say hi to Jeff. Oh,
Yeah.
Jeff, man, how long have you been a member for? And then you become friends.
Yeah.
So it's cool how it works out.
Now, how many members you got now?
Both facilities have less than 200. That's always been the idea too. Have less than 200. So by sheer volume, back to not crowded, you should always be able to go in and train exactly how and when you like. Big pain point from other facilities. People leaving gym bags everywhere. You're waiting for stuff. You go to
Yeah.
work and someone's a jerk. It's like, oh man, like, you kill 30 minutes trying to set up a
Yep.
workout
Yep.
versus hitting the button on your phone, working out, and going home.
That's awesome. So where do you see it going? In a short time, you go from nothing to two awesome gyms. Where do you see it in 3, 4, 5 years?
I think little more intangible answer before the actual tangible answer. I think to the extent that we can continue to serve people at the bar of excellence that we want, I think that is endless.
Mm.
And it doesn't even have to be from a facility lens either. Back to how kind of the garage gym and feels good now coincide. Feels good is right now is totally entirely online community people who are chasing their 100% selves physically, mentally, and socially. It's group chats, it's social media. We're going to work into events. And I really want to just kind of wipe the table of excuses for people
Mm.
want to get to the better version of themselves, but are in their own way. So if you're by a garage gym location and there is membership availability, awesome. Go through the process, join. It's going to be fantastic. If you're not and you want to be surrounded by like minds and maybe where you're at, you can't leave, but it's not the best, join Feels Good. It's free right now. It's a big group chat. There's a lot of good people. We're going to start putting on events. I really want to just take away the excuse that people can't start to live. Let's not even say their best life. For some people, that's too far out of reach. A better life. Step
Yeah.
one. Let's do that.
So wipe the table of excuse. I love that. You got so many sayings, huh? This is great. You got so many things for t-shirts. It's unbelievable.
That's
Like
crazy, man.
that you wipe that should be on a t-shirt too. So how do you it's all mindset, right? Kieran, there's everything 99% of what we do is mindset. And if we think we can do it, we can do it. If we don't think we can do it, we're not going to do it. Either way, you're right. But how do you encourage people to wipe that table of excuses away?
It's a good question. And I think one of the things that I've gotten better at, back to like me prefacing stuff of like, this is not advice. I don't want to preach. I don't like giving advice because A, who knows if it'll work? And I think there's some things that are objectively true,
Yeah.
but are universally true. But I think the immediate answer to your question is to live my life so hard that people hopefully look at me or guys like you or girls like whomever can be that person in other people's lives. But live my life so hard where people look at me and they're like, fuck, man, like he's doing it. Like he's taking the risk. He's putting himself out there. He's posting the bloopers. He's posting the good stuff. He's talking about it. And my hope is that people see that and they're like, shoot, dude, like that one thing that I've been wanting to do. I could bother. Like I'm seeing this kid Kieran, and I almost hope it like bothers people. Like, dude,
Yeah.
like get irked with yourself. Like I think you should be
Yeah.
the toughest on yourself. And sometimes you need someone else living their best life to maybe give you the perspective that it's possible. And again,
Yeah.
I'm nowhere near like I'm figuring it out so hard. I'm learning every day. Like it's not sunshine and rainbows by any means, but I think just having the headspace of approaching each day as the opportunity that it is. And also, again, I get weary of saying this because this does get foo-foo, but I do believe it. Every day is a brand new slate, man. You could be totally different today than you were yesterday.
Yeah.
You could stop drinking. You could stop hanging out with those people. You could start to rewire your emotional reactions to things, whatever it is. I just hope that people see it and then get this like annoying fire in themselves of like, oh, shoot, dude, I'm on it. I'm gonna start.
Yeah. It's almost you want to get them frustrated a little bit.
And I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. I was talking
Yeah.
to my girlfriend about this over the weekend. I'm like, the way that I think about it, I think at least the way that I am, again, not advice, like be the hardest on yourself. If no one else is going to be hard on you, like hold yourself to a bar of excellence that is almost unreasonable because at least you're striving for it. And again, give yourself grace. Don't kick yourself when you're down and like know that you will mess up along the way, but hold the bar as high as you can and get frustrated with yourself when you slip up, which you will and I will. Like I have goals that I haven't perfectly adhered to, and I go, oh, man, I'm irked at myself. I need to be better. Let's be better now.
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing. I don't think people should shy away from oh,
Yeah.
let's more gentle on ourselves, give yourself grace, be nice to yourself, have positive
Yeah.
self-talk, but also be hard on yourself and hold yourself to a bar of excellence so that you can be the person that you want to be.
That's crazy, man. That's awesome. So how about this one? Is everyone's like, I'm just going to make an assumption here that I'm going to go to Kieran for this. I'm going to go to Kieran for this. I'm going to go to Kieran for this. Who the hell do you go to when you need that
That's a really good
inspiration, that
question, man.
accountability, that push?
I will say transparently, I'm not very good at asking for help. It's one of the things I want to be more cognizant of this year. And help can look many different ways. I have a question on business, I have a question on my relationship, I have a question about whatever. With particularly, I don't know if you want me to address the question so specifically, but like accountability and motivation
Yeah.
and stuff like that, holding yourself accountable. Man, I mean, I will say I would read David Goggins' first book. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
It like rewired my brain in a way that made me, among other books, but that particularly kind of was a catalyst of like, I am 100% accountable for everything in my life. If I don't like the way that I look, the way that I operate, the way that I perform, my fault.
Yeah.
And I can fix it, right? So the first thing for me, I think, is holding myself to the highest bar possible. And when I don't adhere to that bar, I get frustrated and I fix it and I give myself grace and then we go onwards. But sometimes also that's pretty easy to shirk to the side. Ah, dude, well, I'm fine. You know, like it's not that big of a deal, just me or whatever.
Yeah.
Is now what I'm leaning into is the person back to everything we were talking, the person that I want to be, hopefully is a person that like lights a spark in that guy or that girl. And if I'm not operating to the 200% version of myself, I'm doing them a disservice. And if that is my goal, right? Not even just as a person in society, but also now like as an entrepreneur of brands in communities with people, I'm doing them a disservice if I am not the 100% version of myself. So if not for me, like do it for them. I was
Yeah.
having this conversation with a buddy who was talking about losing weight and can't really wrap his head around not eating junk food or whatever. And it was kind of the same sentiment. I'm like, hey man, do it for your fiance. Do it for your parents. Do it for the people at your work that you could inspire, man. If they see you get into the craziest shape of your life, they're gonna look in the mirror when they get home and be like, I know that guy. I can do that too. Oh cow.
Yeah.
I think it's so much bigger than yourself. I think it's awesome to hold yourself to that bar.
Yeah.
But if you have trouble doing that, think about the people that you love in your life and do it for them.
Okay, I'm going to ask you this one. I mean, like just so you know, when I'm looking down, I'm writing stuff down. I got notes like you wouldn't believe here, right? And but I'm going to paint this picture. And I don't want to keep going to the physical side, but let's just say I'm the guy. I'm way overweight.
Mhm.
Never worked out a day in my life, and I'm not feeling too good about myself. And here I hear you all jacked up, all positive, and I'm gonna sit here and say, yeah, man, it's easy for him to say, because look at him. He's in positive, he's in good shape, he's got everything going. It's not that easy to start. Can you talk about that person who's sitting there saying, hey, it ain't that easy to start? How do you get started?
Again, I think that taking extenuating circumstances out of the question, I think I always just have empathy for people. So my hope is that people are always operating to the best of their ability. And sometimes it's not actually the best, but it's just because like that's how they're wired right now. And the hope is that they can at least have the wherewithal to know that they can change. So I think the first step there is like, dude, like you can. But I also think that there is a lot of people in the world that will just never change. And it bothers me to say it, but they don't want to. I want to, you want to. There's so many people who want to and they will, and maybe they just need a little help. But there's some people who will go their whole lives. Oh, must be nice, dude. Yeah, man. I don't know. Like, and they'll just mope their way through, and it breaks my heart. But like, I'm not here to change anyone. I'm here to like hope. If you need help, man, let me know. I will help you. I will do anything. But like, I also can't change you. And so if you want to change, you've got to be the one to change. So I would say, let's start there. If you haven't changed and you want to change, ask yourself why. I don't know what the answer would be, but if you're not happy, sometimes I think you got to get to a point where the frustration of not being happy is greater than the frustration of doing the thing, and just making the choice that you want to do the thing. And whatever the thing is going to be relative to you. I'm not saying go sign up for a 100-mile race if you're 200 pounds overweight. I'm saying let's get healthy. Let's leave it vague to start.
Let's start day one.
Day one. And then
Right.
let's just control what we can control. You can
Right.
control the food that you consume, and on the physical side, the food that you can consume and the activities that you do. If
Right.
you have no time in the day, which I don't really believe, but if you have no time in the day, start with your food. If you're that overweight, stop eating crap, fuel yourself better, drink a lot of water.
Yep.
That's easy. I don't even want to say it's not like that's easy. Like instead of drinking this, drink, you have a faucet in your home, start there.
Yeah.
Start so micro small that
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like this grandiose change, and just do that for 30 days. If that for a day, whatever it is, drink more water. And then as you will naturally, I think, start to feel better because you're just hydrated a little bit more, like you're eating better, or maybe you're just eating less. Then start on taking a lap around the block,
Yeah.
going to the end of your driveway and back, whatever it is. Sit up
Yeah.
from your chair, sit down from your chair, one time, 10 times. Do a little bit more than the day that you did prior. I think to kind of put a bow on it, take off the table this grand vision. If you can't conceive that, I think some people think of that, oh my God, I'll never do that. And they just regress back to what they were doing. Just start. And again, back
Mm.
to, if not for yourself, my hope is that you have someone that you love, that you have someone that relies on you in some capacity or looks to you. Maybe it's a child, maybe it's a loved one, maybe it's a family member, maybe it's someone that you have to conceive in your head or make up, whatever it is. Do it for someone else and just start, because your life will be dramatically better. Their lives will be dramatically
Yeah.
better, and you will just have a better life.
Right.
Chip, 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 chip. Back to,
Chip
I, I
away.
I walked a little faster today. I like, oh my God, I set up for my chair and like my knee didn't hurt. Like
Yeah.
it will snowball into just the greatest thing ever.
Yeah. I think The Rock said it. Instead of saying someday, it's say, okay, well, today's day one,
100%.
you know?
1000%.
Yeah.
It was like that saying, it's like the best time to plant a tree or invest in the stock market was 20 years ago, but the next best time is right now.
Right now. Right now. Right. So, all right, now, we got to talk about your 100-mile runs. I like, first of all, what the heck inspired you to do that? Two, what the heck was that like? And really, what I want to know is how the hell you were feeling when it was done. Because I ran the New York City Marathon in
Nice.
23 and with my daughter, which was the greatest experience ever. And crossing that finish line was emotionally
Yeah.
exciting and exuberant, but was physically, my legs were sore for like 3 days. So how the hell did you do that?
New York is awesome. I've done New York. I I actually say I wish everyone on the planet, whether you're a runner or whether you're not, just do the New York City Marathon somehow. Walk the whole time. Just do
Yeah.
it. It will change your life. How did I do it? Why did I do it? So I read Can't Hurt Me, David
Yeah.
Goggins' book, and I'd always been like a fit dude. I college soccer and I ran, I swam and did some stuff. And then literally read about a dude who ran 100 miles. And I'm like, what again, back to perspective. I'm like, people do that? I
Yeah.
thought it was just the marathon, and not just the marathon to
Yeah.
undermine. Marathon's very difficult, but I'm like, I thought people just ran marathons. Like, what the heck is this guy doing? And for some reason, it was just like, I gotta run. Like, there's no like, oh, I did like, I gotta run 100 miles. I don't know why. It was just like, shoot,
Yeah.
I just run 100 miles.
It's a challenge.
It was a challenge, yeah. And so I picked up running again, and then over the course, it took me 2 years from my first 100, and I'll dive into some of the specifics, but I did a half marathon, and then I did my first 50-mile trail run, which was hilarious because my training was a joke. I never worked with a coach. This was, again, as with entrepreneurship, fitness has always been this personal development journey, and I've always treated it as such. This is not the right way to look at it. I thought having a coach was cheating. You should have a coach. But at the time, I'm like, I need to figure this out. I need to do this myself, which is just silly. But it worked for me at the time. I ran my first 50-mile trail run. I had no idea what I was doing. I finished in like 12 hours. I lost 12 pounds in 12 hours because I didn't eat anything. I just like, I'm going on a run. Why would I eat? You need to eat.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot along the way. I tried to run 100 miles 3 times. I didn't run 3 times. I didn't run it 3 times. I ran 70 once. I ran 80 once. I ran
Oh my God.
92
So
once.
what kept you from continuing? Just physically done? You couldn't go any
I
further?
just stopped. Nah, I mean, that was what I learned after the third point. I'm like, all right, so I've done really nothing different. And the past 3 times over like a year and a half that I run 100 miles, or I've tried to run 100 miles, I ran 70, 80, and then 92.
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
I'm just stopping. I'm like, if I just don't stop, I will get there. If I'm walking, if I'm crawling, like, as I mean, I don't have a watch on me now, but like my watch will buzz 100.00. If it gets there, I just have to get there. And so it was actually pretty funny because I had set this goal, I want to say 20, either 21 or 22. And I was going to do it that year, but a full year went by and I didn't do it. And now I had just failed my third attempt. It's November and we're about to go into another year. And I remember being so frustrated with myself. My like I've made progress. My mom was like, honey, you did so good. You're 10 more miles. I'm like, mom. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it's not it though. Like this was the goal and I got here. That's not here. And I tried to kind of, oh, dude, like that was good though. Like I ran 90, it's almost 100. And I like the consoling myself, which is a good thing, wasn't doing anything for me. And I was just so frustrated. I'm like, dude, I said I was going to run 100 miles. I have not done 100 miles. I'm like, that doesn't feel good. I haven't done what I said I was going to do. I'm like, I'm a guy who does what he says, he wants to do, and I have not done this yet. So this is November. I literally go to the whiteboard in my room and I write down December 7th, 100 miles. I found like a Saturday in my phone and I just like blocked my calendar. I didn't have anything to do back then either. I was just doing this, blocking my calendar. And I remember I was living at home at the time and I told my mom and I'm like, all right, so I'm gonna run 100 miles on Saturday. She's like, okay, yeah, whatever. Like I don't know if she
So
was.
it wasn't a race, it wasn't a
I
group
went
thing,
out
it was just on
solo.
your own.
I was so annoyed. I went out solo.
Holy crap.
And I think she thought I was joking or like I wasn't actually gonna do it. And so like at 6 a.m. or whatever time, like my alarm goes off, I get ready, and she must hear me getting ready. She comes downstairs and it's pouring rain. It's torrential. And I'm looking out, I'm like, I'm like, to start in December. And she comes outside, she's like, so you're really gonna do this? I'm like, yeah, I'll be back. And so I basically did a huge loop from like where I lived in Island to Westfield. I ran around. And very long story short, I put on a Camelback with my credit card and I would like buzz around. And if I got hungry, if I got thirsty, I'd go into a 7-Eleven and get a snack or whatever. And I'd run around. I had an aunt in Clark that I popped in. She made pancakes. Like took a village. But a little over 30 hours later, I finally like made my way back to my house and my watch buzzed 100.00. And I was thinking that I was going to have this like overwhelm of like, oh, emotion and happening. I'm
Yeah.
like, Okay, fine. I finally did it. Finally. I was tired. I ate some food, I took a shower, and I went to sleep. And very long anticlimactic story short, that's how I got there. It took me a while. But literally, when I tell you from that day forward, the ceiling was off. Like there
Right.
was nothing in my mind and my scope of reality that I couldn't do. Because I was thinking to myself, I'm like, dude, I just did 100 miles. Not only is that like objectively kind of cool, but I couldn't do this. Like there was 3 times I tried to do this, and physically and mentally I quit. And I have literally like pummeled those previous versions of myself and proved it to myself that I could do this. I'm like, what else can I do? And I
Yeah.
went on like a tear of ultra running and 1 day races, 2 day races, hundreds of miles. And that has since transcended into business and life. And it has taught me so much. But that is the longer short of why and
That
how
is awesome.
and
I
what.
mean, 30 hours of running, no sleep, nothing.
I
Like,
mean, a lot of walking too. I didn't run, a lot of walking, a lot of
but
limping,
still,
and
I don't care
moving.
what you're doing. It's 30 hours of non-sleeping and constantly moving and running. Like, holy crap.
Learn a lot about yourself, though.
Yeah. Yeah, you probably get to know yourself pretty well talking to
Very
yourself that
well,
way.
because you can't listen to music for 30 hours. There's
No.
got to be some downtime there.
Yeah. Oh my God. So when's the next time you're gonna do that?
I try to do one a year. I did one last year. It was you run from Key Largo to Key West
Oh wow, that
in
must have been
like
great.
June. It was awesome. It was
So
so
is that like the whole bridge?
all highway. You
All
hit
highway.
7th Bridge, you end on the beach. It was neat. Even more so, what's really cool is the crew that you take along with you. It's such an awesome experience. It's hard, it's awesome. You learn a lot about yourself. But now I have my girlfriend and one of my best friends and my mom in a van for 27 hours hoofing it with me. My
Wow.
buddy and my girlfriend take turns running with me. They're like going to get gas, going to get food, and then like meeting me at this little aid station area every hour. I'm coming in, I'm sitting down, I'm eating food. What do you need? Here's what I need. Okay, I'll see you at the next one. Run, drive, literally together, cat
Right.
and mouse in it to the finish line. An amazing experience.
Now, do
Just
you take any breaks along the way or just walk?
you can so you how you approach it is how you want to approach it.
Right.
I've had events where I've taken like a little cat nap. I've had events like that one where I didn't sleep at all, have some caffeine through the night. Really depends on how you're feeling. Um, you sit down like when you meet up with your so you're basically the car will drive and then you'll meet the car. And when you get there, at least what my crew is doing is they'll have a chair. I'll sit down. I'll talk to them. They'll pour some cold water on me because it was like 100+ degrees.
Yeah.
Change my shoes. I'll eat some food. And then it's like, cool, see the next one. So you sit down, you can sleep, you can not sleep. There's basically a time cutoff. So I think for that one,
Right.
it's like 32 hours. If
Holy
you get
crap.
there before 32 hours, you could sleep all night as long as you get there. I don't have that. I'm not that fast. I don't have that luxury.
So
But you can
how far do you run in between each stop?
So the stops are on the course, which is neat. So you're not running any extra in this one at least.
Right.
You basically run and there's literally a car on the side of the highway with the trunk open and my mom's like, "What's up,
But
honey?"
is it 10 miles in between each stop or what?
So that one was like 3 or 4, which is friendly.
Okay.
But I've done another mountain one that was like 6 to 8 miles each.
Wow.
And now you're in the mountains and it's taking you longer, which is a different beast. But truly some of the best experiences I've had learning about myself, spending it with people. You meet people at these races who are equally as invested in doing this hard thing and you become lifelong friends. It is a very cool world.
I would love to do that, man.
We could do it.
I don't know. I spent it took so much time to get ready for the marathon. Then it's like, okay, how am I going to run 100 miles?
You'd be surprised. You do a lot of walking. For me, again, I won't go into a training tear, but like it's a long day.
Yeah.
That's what I chalk it up as.
But it's got to be fun because when you're out there running the marathon, if you're it's just you.
Mm.
If you got a team with you, it's got to be helpful mentally and
Something to
inspiring.
look forward to.
Yeah.
If you're feeling down, they could like cheer you up.
Yeah.
It's also like your closest people. It's
Right.
like they'll know what's gonna make you tick too. Like it's special.
That's got to be so much fun. Oh my God. Well, what's next? Like, you got so much stuff going on. How can people get a hold of you, your gym, the feel good stuff? Like, how can they get a hold of that?
So I mean, we're big on social media. It's like the.garage gym and then feels good 100 on Instagram. It's on LinkedIn too, which I think is neat. I think there's a really cool community of people there. Personally, it's Kieran feels good, just funny on Instagram. My email, I will say, I've been thinking about this past couple of days. If anyone like needs anything, like email me. It's gonna take a little bit to get back, but I'm here to help with anything, man. I think it's back to what we are talking about, like the energy that you put into the world.
Yeah.
You never know what someone's going through. If they hear this and something resonates and they have a question or comment, like email me, Kieran, Kieran at thegaragegym.co, not.com. That
Yeah.
domain is taken. Finding us is there. Garage Gym feels good. If you're interested in any of it, they will show you around on socials particularly. As far as what's next, I think it's a lot of the same as far as we did a little session on it. My girlfriend and I, we took a little Catskills trip at the end of the year to game plan this year. And back to fitness and entrepreneurship, the lens in which I approach it is always in becoming the best version of myself. Because I think in becoming the best version of myself, I will also become the best entrepreneur I can be, the best friend I can be, the best brother and son I can be. And I think in doing so, it will produce the actual tangible goals of let's open a third facility, let's have events, let's do races and all that fun stuff. I won't get into specifics with, but I think it's becoming the best version of myself and serving the people that are around me is something I feel deeply passionate about, and helping everyone with the perspective and community and sometimes motivation if you need to start, to continue, to keep going, and to live whatever your 100% life looks like, to get on your way and finding it.
Pretty intense.
It's fun. Is it? I try to keep it
I don't,
lighthearted.
I don't mean, I don't mean like, I don't mean like intense, scary intense.
Yeah.
It's like the world needs more people like you.
Maybe.
No, there's
Maybe.
no maybes. It's definitely.
I will say, you will find a lot of people like me with Feels Good with Garage. And I say like me through the lens of they have this desire to find their best version and to also help others doing the
Yeah,
same. And it's a wild space, because I think particularly growing up, it was like you do business and then you live your life. Your
yeah,
business, you have customers that give you money to do a service, and then you have your life, or like you can do stuff. And to me, it's all one, which I feel very grateful for. It's really just an extension of myself, for better or for
yeah,
worse,
yeah,
everything that I do. And it kind of makes it easier in a way. There's no like, I operate to the best of my ability, and then that transcends into my businesses, into my people, and
yeah.
I learn as I go. And hopefully more people, again, operate into the best of their ability, respective to Jeff or Ian or Taylor or Marley or whomever it is.
Yeah.
They find the best version of themselves because there's people who love them so dearly for that. And then they inspire them and they inspire them, and
You attract like-minded people.
100%.
That's awesome. Well, Kieran, man, we're going on 2 hours.
Oh,
I,
really?
we've talked about some really cool stuff. I've asked you a ton of questions. Man, I appreciate your openness and your vulnerability and your willingness to share. But is there anything else I haven't asked you yet? Do you think we should touch on before we wrap it up?
I don't know. That was good, man. I think it's less of a what have we not covered, and more of maybe like if I had 10 seconds, it would just be like lean into the things that really light you up. And
Mm,
it's not a way to say quit your job tomorrow and run away or whatever. If that's what you want to do, I'm not going to stop you. But I think everyone can make time for the things that light them up. The time will look different, the thing will look different, and how you go about it will look different. But everyone has things that really, really lights them up. And I think the world would be a much better place if more people leaned into it. They would have passionate work, they would have deeper relationships, they would have higher energy. And if everyone operated at a higher frequency of energy and passion and love, dude, I think that's everything.
the world would be a better place.
World would be, again, the world's an awesome place, and it can be even better too.
Yes.
And I think it starts at this level of like
Starts with you.
control yourself
Yeah.
the best of your ability, And I think you will attract a life that you couldn't have even dreamed of.
That's awesome. Well, Kieran, man, this has been great. I appreciate you being on the show and taking
Thank
the
you for
time
having
out of
me.
your day. And I definitely got to stop into that gym
Yeah,
and
we
check it
got
out.
time.
And just, yeah, I guarantee you walk in that place, even though there's no workers there, you probably feel the energy as soon as you walk in just from the members.
It's electric, man. It's electric.
That's
Thank
awesome. Well, I'll see you at the gym.
you, brother.